Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
It's another Saturday in the revolution. It's let's just start again there. Change that off. That's what that is. Good morning, everybody. It's another one of my beautiful intros. Saturday is always the day I just don't care that much because I actually have to care the rest of the days of the week when we're doing the other shows. So thank you for putting up with that professionalism.
You're among family.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes. It's also the day that everybody else treats as like a day off, and here we are doing this stuff. So it is kind of a day off because we don't have to be so accurate or, whatever on us. You know how we are around here. The cover took me an hour to find something that I thought was that I could put up. Where'd all my, hang on, and that's LiDAR of Mayan ruins from Nat Geo. And the reason I picked this cover is because I was thinking about, thinking about humanity and where we kind of are, and the fact that a lot of the things that we need to do are kind of right there, just under a very small layer of duh. And it really applies to so much. It doesn't just apply to, us not seeing our own history and recognizing our shortcomings or our stupidity, or the fact that we repeat the same cycles of civilization over and over and over again with the same ends, right? Or that we focus on really, really stupid minutia, or that we're easily distracted by stupid minutia. And I look at that stuff and I think, in a world where everybody's basic needs are met and we're not arguing over stuff that really doesn't even belong to us anyway, we would be doing so much other fun stuff. And things like Mayan LiDAR would be neat and fun and cool. But today they're just one of those things that we can't focus on because we really are facing a crisis of humanity. And that's what's really hard for me, is to go from watching shows on TV that are fun, like Planet Earth, and even just entertainment. I like entertainment TV, right? But it's really hard to go watch that stuff and then go talk to other people in the world that aren't engaged with what's going on in our democracy and what's going on around the world. And, and they're like, oh, I bought a latte the other day, and blah, 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 stupid right. Bullshit, fuck this. And I'm like, who cares? Yeah. Who fucking cares? I do the same thing. I planted plants the other day. I did this. I did life. And you all could be like, and who the fuck cares, John? I get that. We all have our things. It's like, how do you compartmentalize your sanity? Or, I was talking with Markus about needing to find something that escapes me from what would be reality. Let's go play Civilization Babylon edition so I can pretend that I rule the earth back in a time when I think we might have been a little more civilized even, just in care of the earth, at least more in touch with the fact that we are part of it. And yeah, it's just really, for me, I'm really struggling with that. Even when I see all the successes, and I call them successes, we have to give credit for what it is, right? We see a win in politics over here, or humanity rises to the occasion, does something over here, or our children rise up and try to pull heads out of adult asses as fast as they can, and we, you know, we watch media grab onto it for a ratings ploy, and then we watch groups with money swoop in and do what they want with it, and it's like, oh, well, there was a good thing.
It's not easy being awake.
No, it blows. It blows fucking big, hairy green balls. It really does. And
yeah, the red pill can really stick in your throat, you know. But once you've... Exactly. I mean, it's like I go for my walk. Oh, isn't it beautiful? And I see, you know, just, you know, big, you know, garbage cans full of plastic and crap that people are throwing away. I'm like, where's that going? You know, it's... You look at the headlines and Instagram videos, and then you think, but what waste time?
Yeah.
It's hard, and especially when, you know, when one is mentally getting tired, it is doubly hard.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. Comments. I'm looking at comments. This is a privileged white person problem.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not,
first world problems. Me worrying about where all that nicely baggaged garbage is going to be taken away from my neighborhood, so I never have to see it again. Problems, you know.
Well, and or, you know,
about the Texas-sized pile of plastic that's in the ocean. You know, that's right. where I think it's going. You know, even if it doesn't. So, anyway,
right.
Sorry,
I mean, we're still protected from the three of us at least right now are not in a complete survival mode. Mm-hmm. You know,
right.
There's other people who are, and people.
Well,
in our
we're
audience
privileged to be able to do something like this on a Saturday rather than work our second or third job. You know.
Right. So I get that. Jim Lockett, like, that's my world. Jilly Love, lattes are a complex issue. Not. Yeah, I get it. It is exhausting being woke. For me, it's just a lot of frustrations. Like, you know. You see the answers, you see the collective answers from all the people, and then you see it being stopped by just a handful of fuckers, and it's just like, you know. Anyway, is this Burnout Saturday? Yes, it's Burnout Saturday. Absolutely fucking Burnout Saturday.
That's brilliant.
To tell the truth, I was trying to find a picture that expressed that, and I couldn't. Yeah. So I ended up with the LiDAR things. Like, yeah, it's just
Saturday, the HalfBaked show.
Yes. Well, the other, I mean, so outside of my own personal despair, which we see a lot of people, it's not uncommon. You know, no. It's not right now. I didn't read the article. I just saw a blurb go through about The Rock. Dwayne Johnson posted about depression. And I saw just one of the quotes. And he said, you know, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go out. I'm like, yep, right there with you. And if I didn't have to fucking do this shit, there would be weeks where I would, you know, not. And it's amazing what we do, even in despair, in depression, that we've decided, well, you know, I've got to do these things. This is my job, or I have a responsibility here, and I'm going to use that to comfort myself to get through it, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, we're facing that as a species. That's our issues are this huge, and we are so ill-equipped to address them. And that's, to me, that's the frustrating aspect. Outside of that, we have good people doing great things all over the place, and we see these speckles of beautifulness happening. And I'm going to turn it over to Markus to go into last week on UHM, because we did have all sorts of great things. We did a No More Fool's Day event, and I'll start it off with that, and Markus can take us into happier stuff now that I've just kind of brought everybody down to my level of heroin use. You know, it's basically what it was. Welcome to my world, everybody. It sucks. All right, Markus, take us away with all the good shit we did last week.
Well, I'm now too depressed to go.
You live in Germany. Fuck you.
Really bummed us out, dude.
You just have to make sure America doesn't blow up the world. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go over to my problems, and my problems for this show today was, damn it, we had so much great candidates. You know, we had,
There you go.
we had the Normal Fools event with 15, 17, I don't know how much it were, and candidates, which everyone had a great message. And yeah, so I was sitting there today. I was trying to prepare the show, and yeah, and I could not decide which one of the candidates I should present here in this show. So I would suggest that you follow the link in our video description, where you find our show, the complete show, and the candidates with their messages, with the interviews with John. And yes, I think this makes more sense than I would pick today one candidate or two. And you got to watch them all. They were absolutely fantastic and great.
They were. They were just. It was so wonderfully. I'm just so glad that they all showed up, and you. What you guys did in the green room was, thank you, because it made my job really easy. In and out.
Yes.
Boom, boom. Come on, get in there, get out of it.
They were very good. They herded in, you know,
Yeah.
very obediently, and only had a few problems, you know, finding their way out again. And it was wonderful.
Everyone was in time.
Yeah. We had Jim Crary and Dana Carstensen, and they hung out for about an hour beforehand just to hang out. It was great. So it was,
Yeah. And
that was a fun event. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad it's over.
And look, Robert, was it Robert Hunziker? Yeah, I think it was Robert Hunziker who extra prepared his garden to have a nice view for us in on the video. You know, it was and
no, that was Ruben. That was Ruben.
Yes, and Robert Hunziker was sick, you know, and he showed up anyway. Yes, with his flu. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and not to forget John. You know, 17 interviews or. I don't know how much in a row, you know.
16 because David was pre-done.
Okay, then forget it. Only 16. I don't want to mention.
Well, that was the count for the
No, absolutely fantastic work, John.
Well, thank you. I just.
Yeah.
We know, and you've been clipping everything out like a madman all week long. If you go look, guys, go look at the Uphill Media channel. Look at all the videos that John has.
Oh yeah.
nmf.uphillmedia.org. And yes, I know the videos don't lightbox open. They stay that stupid small size. I don't have the option. Weebly doesn't give me these options. Weebly, I love you and hate you. But
they're all on the channel though, right?
Yeah, they're all on the channel. And there's I should get a link to the playlist. They're all in one playlist. Everything's in the playlist with the promo and all that stuff.
I'm going to post the link to that playlist because that's a good playlist. And so I know you're tired. We're all tired, but we did good work this week.
It was good. I mean, there's only about 500 views on it, but I hope it did something for candidates. And if you guys could please share, that would be great.
Yeah, the clips. Getting them out to the candidates so they can share them themselves would be great too. Yeah. They all did great.
I see Dennis is talking about how he's near Munster.
Yeah. This is a tragedy which happened today in
what?
In Germany, Münster, which is in my state. It seems that someone drove with his truck into a crowd of people, and I think the latest news was, let me just see it. I think 4 dead, yes, and a lot of people hurt in this. In this attack, and police. The driver of the car shot himself, as it seems, and the police we don't have not much information about who the attacker was, but there's one hint that the police were looking before for someone who was in the near of this, calling with a fascist and radical paroles, and I don't know if we don't know if there's a connection between this, and we gotta wait until we get further news on this.
Oh my goodness!
It's not beautiful. Yeah.
It's so much more unusual to hear it coming from your side of the pond.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to John about it. You know, you hear so much about car attacks because it is much harder to get weapons. You know, and
right.
So
right.
It's a little bit of irony in this.
I'm surprised they don't have a car association of Germany.
Yeah.
Lobbying to defend cars.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, we were talking about that, but you guys have the same kind of restricted rules on both weapons, guns or cars. It's, It's kind of convenient.
If you mean that that there are licenses affordable, yes, of course, yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, training, licenses, regulation.
Yeah.
You guys have
Yeah,
that for both cars and guns. So the argument that the NRA uses would be pointless.
You don't get a license without the training you would need.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
In both
Exactly.
cases.
Such a simple idea. Anyway, so move on.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Then on Wednesday we met a guest we had already in our Fools in our normal Fools fundraiser event, Tambourine Borelli.
That was Monday. Monday.
This was Monday. Yes, it was Monday with the people, of course. Yeah. And as we are talking about attacks and cars and guns, I picked a piece from this interview, where she addresses the gun law and especially the police and weapons problem. And we should look at it right now.
Let me ask you this: do you believe that we should have licensing, registration, like we do for cars, for gun ownership?
I do. I actually believe that that is very reasonable. If we have to go through a certain process to get a driver's license, even the most avid gun enthusiasts, I would imagine, because most gun owners are reasonable, responsible people, I would imagine that they would have no problem with that. You know, the thing is this, and if I can just kind of segue into an aspect of this conversation,
sure,
that, you know, if we're talking about banning certain guns, I believe that we can't talk about gun reform if we don't address the situation of those in authority, militarized police, I'm speaking of, that they have them, because this is the concern of the people that I've heard anyway, that the people that I've spoken to, this is the concern. And especially amongst the African-American community, you know, and this is not, let me just really be clear here. What I'm about to say does not belittle or negate whatsoever the atrocities that happen in mass school shootings, because that is an abhorrent scar on our country, and it should never be. Now, having said that, there has been, I believe, since 2013, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be off by a few, but roughly around 53 deaths in those types of shootings. Meanwhile, there is an average of 1,000 Black men and brown indigenous that get killed a year by militarized police. Now that's, you know, and there's no busloads of people marching for that. That is an atrocity. That is unbelievable that this is still allowed to happen, and not one police officer has ever been on trial and convicted for wrongful death, for murder. In some of these cases, it is nothing other than that. So I have a very sensitive barometer in regard to justice. You know, if it's not equal and something is unjust, it just turns in my stomach. So I think, and not to negate that, but I believe that we are negating that aspect out of the conversation. We need to add that into the conversation. So if we're going to ban anything, then police should not have those types of guns. So why do they need a gun that can kill massive amounts of people?
That's, well, you probably haven't heard me go off about it, but you basically say what I say about it, and you did a much nicer job than I do, because I end up using a lot of cuss words. I'm being polite. You don't have to. You can say whatever the hell you want on this show. We don't have FCC regulations. I absolutely agree with you 100%, and I think the solution is the same solution we have for society. Both our society needs to be educated, and our police. There you go. You have it set. You had the marker for 32. We were only at 30, so I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Well, as you could see, a powerful message from Tambourine, and she was an absolute fantastic candidate. And if you look at the show, I don't know if you watched it. If you didn't, you should. She is highly decorated with endorsement, and this is absolutely impressive. There are so many people supporting her, so many organizations supporting her, and if you look at the interview, she has on many points a very clear and a very progressive message, and she deserves full support, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And they're facing the same establishment Dem machine in Washington that is doing the same thing that they are in California and Oregon.
Yeah,
we are seeing it across the board.
Yeah. As you say, California. We're coming to another very, very great guest, Shaheed Butare, and. Yeah, what can I say? This was the second problem I had today in preparing the show. Yes, there was so much information in it. There was
he was badass.
Yes, to bring it on the point, he was badass, and as we heard in the clip before, Tambourine Borelli going wild on gun laws and police weaponry. We will hear now what Shaheed has to say about the Second Amendment at all and how it has to be understood. And I think this was very impressive to
me. What do you think about what's going on right now with gun violence, and how tied in is it with police violence, and what do we need to do about it?
Great question. I love that you connected those two things, because I think that is the crux. So obviously, we are living through a constitutional crisis that is threatening the lives of millions of Americans. It is a no-brainer to support a ban on assault-style rifles. There's no reason that civilians should have them. And I will offer this a lot. When I was at the March for Lives not long ago, I guess the week before this last weekend, the Saturday before this one passed, I had an opportunity to speak with Dennis Bernstein from Flashpoints, and he gave me a chance to describe my Second Amendment theory on national radio, and it goes like this. A lot of conservatives are concerned about Second Amendment rights, and to the extent they locate gun control as a threat to their interests, there's a little bit of a bait and switch in that they're barking up the wrong tree. The Second Amendment isn't actually about weapons. The text of the amendment refers to them, but the purpose of the Second Amendment is a right to resistance against the federal government. It's the constitutional escape hatch passed at the time of the founding for colonies that were fearful that the federal government would run roughshod over their rights. It's why the text of the Second Amendment grounds the right to bear arms, particularly in a well-regulated militia. So in 2008, the Supreme Court radically reinterpreted it and created an individual right to weapons for the first time. But stepping back from that aberration to consider the arc of the Second Amendment over the nation's founding, it's a liberty right to resistance. And if we ask Second Amendment enthusiasts today, what is the thing that inhibits your right to resistance? The answer can't be, in good faith, gun control, because that's not the answer. The reason that there is no meaningful right to resistance today is because the police have become militarized. And the militarization of police presents the threat to Second Amendment interests that many of its defenders mistake for being gun control. And I do think that that opportunity to diffuse Second Amendment concerns, to recognize common cause in the liberty interest, and to unite that coalition against the militarization of police is one of the political opportunities of our generation.
Wow. Well said. Well said. I think, to me, the part of the greater issue there is that and you mentioned it, or we were talking about it in a green room, but the narrative, and in 2008, the court reinterpreted the Second Amendment, but it was also because of the pressure that we had a Tea Party that was using Second Amendment to talk about, we got to retake our government, Obama's going to take away our guns, blah, blah. That whole initiative was that fear-based change on what the Second Amendment was about, right?
It was a big part of it. But I guess when I think about the rise of the Tea Party in that context, what I particularly think about is the opportunity for populism, and in that case, populism coming from a different political alignment,
Yes.
to challenge the partisan establishment. And in that respect, I dare say that I'm rather inspired by that wave of activism, if only because they managed to displace a whole bunch of moderates who were constraining a vision that I don't share in all parts, but I do see members of that political tribe, for instance, challenging mass surveillance. I see them, it's one of the issues in particular where I see a confluence between libertarians and progressives. And having seen the Tea Party quite literally expand the ranks of members of Congress who are willing to fight the NSA, it is at least a mitigated good. And you're absolutely right that fear is driving that movement. You see it expressed both in the vilification of immigrants, as well as what some people might describe as a paranoid fixation on weapons. And at the end of the day, I would just remind people concerned about the Second Amendment rights that it's not having guns that you should fear. It is police having military weapons and training and tactics without the restraint of an engagement policy. The pattern and practice of police violence that's repeated itself and been demonstrated all over the country. That is the thing to be concerned about.
Yes, it is. That's pretty badass.
Absolutely.
He was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was amazing. I mean, and I share his. I've never put it in a positive light about the Tea Party, but from that aspect, sure. Wholeheartedly don't agree with their values, but they absolutely they are inspiring, and that we can do the same with the DNC or with just corporate politicians in general.
Mm-hmm. So just to remind everybody, this is the other progressive candidate, or another progressive candidate who is running against Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco.
Yeah, there are 4.
Yeah,
that I understand,
there's
right?
Stephen, who we know well, and
Yes.
Shaheed, and Shaheed we also interviewed at Gail's house, the house party for Gail last month.
Right.
Adrian Hampton did an amazing job interviewing him, so that's.
I don't think it was actually Gail's house, but yeah.
Yes, it was. Well, it was her house that day.
Right.
The house was free. And we just heard from another one, Ryan Kojasti, who's running, just recently announced against Nancy, and so we've just booked him for We the People on April 18th. And then I think there's a Green Party candidate too.
Yes.
We are not in contact with, but we will, just to make sure we are fair to everybody. But we'd love to get a roundtable discussion going with all those candidates at once. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be really awesome. Before I forget about this, Gale Force. Gail McLaughlin pushed out an article this morning, or a post from her website. And you should see the list of California candidates that she's endorsed. It's huge. And that's where I found out there was a 4th progressive who was probably the green guy. I'm not sure. Yeah. But it was another dude's name going against Pelosi. She didn't list Harris.
Pat Harris?
Yeah, Pat Harris. She listed the other guy. So that's cool. I mean, in other words, Gail McLaughlin, with her movement, has gathered people in the progressive alliances and Our Revolution and all sorts of other groups that I don't even know the names of, just a shit ton of people. They're like, whatever, let's just do this. And together they are endorsing and supporting, sponsoring, whatever it takes, this list of candidates. And that's, that's
the fact that she's no party preference.
Yes.
I mean, that says a lot to a lot of people who are very disenchanted with the Democratic Party. And it is a statewide position. So she can appeal to people all over the state. It's not regional, like the guys running for District 12. That's just the city of San Francisco. Yes. And she is dealing with the entire state. And speaking of her Gale Force endorsements, we have Jason Kishinev, who's the Green Party candidate. And I can't remember his district right offhand, but I can find it in 2 seconds. Hold on. He is District 5. Jason Kishinev. So he's one of the ones that she recently endorsed, and he's going to be on. And I just mentioned Ryan. We've got Rosa Calderon for District 4 on the show on the 16th.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. And just to clarify, everybody, I wish I had the exact statistic. Don't quote me on it. It was in an article this morning that I read. California just pre-registered 16-year-olds. Includes 4 million new people. I think that was the number I saw.
Wow.
Out of those 4 million new voters, the largest group was independents, more than 40%.
Yeah. Well, that was Joseph reported on that on Progressive California a few weeks ago. He was that when they first started doing that, and it was already showing that exact division, 40 or no party preference.
Yes.
And the Republicans are coming in third. But I'd be interesting to see what the statistics are for that post the March for Our Lives.
It's got to be even higher. Yeah.
Because that was registering a lot of people, and I bet you they registered a lot of Dems because that was who were out there, pressing registrations. But anyway, that's a great statistic, and the young ones this fall are going to kick ass, and they're really going to kick ass in 2 more years in 2020, when they've had a chance to be out there for a couple years.
If we're still alive, they're going to do a lot at the voting booth. That's it. Yes.
And,
well,
what's that old song in the year 2525? If we're still alive,
Zager and Evans, yeah.
Oh my God! Oh, Marcus gets an A+ for random song.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. Don't stop me, because the fourth candidate in the race against Nancy Pelosi from the Green Party is Barry Hermanson.
Yes.
There you go.
I've seen him on some panels with Stephen Jaffe. So yeah, we got to get Barry on there. Just
I did real-time graphics grab of a quote from Jeffrey Pearson in chat because it had me cracking up. This is, Karl Marx should have had a man bun. Speaking of Shaheed Butare's hairstyle,
which is badass, and his song that he did at the end, which was to his own poetry and his own music, and it was just
great round from Jeff, one of our content team workers, hard workers.
Absolutely. All right, I'm sorry, Marcus. You can get back to wherever we're at here.
Absolutely fine, because what can I add? I only can advise again for those people who did not watch the interview with Shaheed or Tambourine. You should do this. There is so much information, and they are real progressive, and they deserve every support they can.
And and share, you guys. We're still losing subscribers and not getting views, and it's getting a little embarrassing. Badass stuff, and to have it only in the 3 digits is
that's I don't know what it is that does that, or what we have to do to fix that. I really don't, and I don't know that I don't know. Is it just because we're not going after ratings? I know we're not Jimmy Dore. I know we're not Jimmy Dore, but for fuck's sake, we do better than a dude in the car, right?
Right.
At least we. Here was my thing. Like I was trying to find, the whole point of this was to be useful. Maybe useful isn't all that attractive on YouTube. I don't know. That was the.
I don't know. YouTube is for the useful stuff. YouTube is where you go when you want to find, how do I change the filter in that thing?
I know. Well, yeah. How do I fix my democracies?
It's how I found you in the first place. It's like I Googled video Bernie rallies.
But back then we were doing more fancy stuff and fun stuff and the celebrity stuff, and
cat puppies, dog puppies.
I ranted and raved, and it's what you tell us. What would you like to see? What would help this? Bacon, cats, boobs. What?
Yeah.
What? I'm not that we could we'd do the first two.
Boobs and dogs.
Boobs and dogs. I mean, what?
Yes, echo chamber. Tell us what you want.
Yes, just tell us, all 300 of you. What do you want? What more can we do for you? This is the most selective audience in the. No, honestly.
Well, that's a nice way of saying it.
It is.
It's
a selective audience.
37 fucking people watching right now. That's not bad.
That's huge. Hi, all 37 of you. You're awesome. No. We actually, there was a comment that was made by somebody in comments that I really, in like on an old video that I took. I was like, oh. And it was about the dead space at the beginning. And I was all proud of myself for remembering to put that space at the beginning, because everybody's like, this is what you do. YouTubers do it. Make sure you have that space. And so like, this is really boring.
I had to sit here and watch 12 minutes.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
So
I
it's
know
like,
the
oh, you
comment,
would think you could skip ahead that you have this technology.
I did, you know. And
But
yes.
on the other hand, but I must say, okay, this guy, whoever it was, he had the patience to wait. You know? And this is cool. This is cool.
He was a person who knew. He said, only stuck around because of the reputation. Like we had a reputation before of being decent, but he waited 12 minutes through nothing interesting at all. It was just dead space. So anyway.
Yeah.
Pornhub, Jeffrey, we should go there. Isn't that where all the NRA goes now?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I read this. Yeah.
Jim Lockett wants boobs. All right, well,
get right on that, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, put 1 on your keyboard for boobs.
I show you mine.
3 for cats.
There you go. It was just to a poll. No, honestly, let me I didn't mean to go so off the track. It is Saturday though.
Yeah.
But we have good solid shows running right now. I'm proud of what we've got going on. I'm proud of Progressive Washington and Progressive California and Progressive Oregon. And yesterday's Progressive Washington was just a complete uplift from the week before. And it was phenomenal. And the interview was phenomenal. And the work that they put into it was awesome. It's just, I think it's kind of like a parent who's just like, why the fuck doesn't anybody else see that my kid's amazing?
Right?
Where's the 400,000 people watching this shit? Yeah, Cenk Uygur, whatever. Where are you? We've got volunteers running a fucking media work, interviewing people that are running for progressive office. Where is the progressive audience there to show support? And I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking about the 15,000 people on the Washington Our Revolution mailing list. I'm talking about all the people who are in the Progressive Caucus PAC. You know, if nothing else, share the content. Know that it's there. I mean, we are our promotion machine. You know, that's all. So for me, it's more like a parent who's sad that they see that their kid is hitting home runs, but nobody wants to put them on their team. That's what it's like, and I'm just pissed. So that's there.
You mean we're the last to be picked for dodgeball?
Yes. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, all right. So move on. Go ahead.
Yeah, talking about our Washington crew. Yesterday they had another great guest, Earl Ford, and he was very deep involved. Let me say it like this: in the Large Mountain Prison. And let us see what he has to say. If you got it ready, John.
I do.
Cool.
This guy was awesome.
Yes.
I hope we can have him back on. He was. Just and the crap that goes on in our, you know, we know that there's shit going on in our private prisons, but this guy's dealing with it's just white people being dicks. Anyway, here.
Earl is the executive director of the USDA Coalition of Minority Employees Legal Defense and Education Fund, which we'll just call the coalition, I think, from here on out on this show. He's here today to talk about how he and the coalition got involved in Larch Mountain Correctional Center's ongoing battle between the workers and inmates' rights. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Ford.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
How was it that it was first brought to your attention about the workers and inmates' allegation of unfair labor practices and discrimination going on at Larch Mountain?
This time, this issue at large was brought to my attention over 20 years ago. Sometime in the early 90s, there was an article in the Seattle Times, and it had to do more with the Department of Corrections throughout the entire state of Washington. And the article's subtitle was, "What Does the State of Washington Do with Nazis, Skinheads, and Racists?" And that was a quotation, and it said it hires them. It hires them. And so that was a friend of mine who was an employee at the time bought me that article, and he said that, and Sid Clark what's his name? He said, this is the kind of stuff that the coalition ought to be involved with, because at the time we were just concentrating on issues in the Department of Agriculture, primarily with the Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service in Oregon and Washington. So we, at that time, asked the national office if we could expand our mission. So we expanded our mission at that time and began to work here in Southwest Washington with large. And our basic mission at that time was just to increase the number of minorities and women employed at large, because it was a 300-bed prison, and at any one time, 25% of those inmates were people of color. And most of those people of color were African Americans, even though African American employees only made up 3% of the population in Southwest Washington. And so, and you know, it's the prison industrial complex is well known. And over most of this country, we have these prisons that are located in these rural white communities where, with no bus service, you can't catch a bus to get a job up there. You can't catch a bus to visit Pookie when he gets locked up. So it's isolated conditions. And if you look at most of our prisons in the state of Washington, they are like that, in these very isolated conditions. And so that, my journey working with Larch began some 20 years ago. And I'll tell you, we have to smile, because it goes up and down. The relationship goes up and down dependent on the leadership that is at large. And now we seem to be in an impending battle because of the current leader at large. And it has created a very toxic environment. And so we've been working on this. It seems like I've been working on this since my retirement some 2 years ago. And so that's what started us.
So the superintendent at large is Lisa Oliver Estes.
That's correct.
The coalition is pushing for the superintendent Estes' removal. What I was reading up on, what are some of the findings that substantiate that?
Well, since Miss Oliver Estes has came to the prison about 2 years ago, about the same time that I got here, she came as an acting, and the employees, particularly African American employees, we have we have very few African American employees there, and 5 of those employees have filed complaints of retaliation, hostile work environment, and just outright racist conditions there.
Yes, it's off.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Sorry.
We're right on smooth today.
Yeah. Very, very. Well, this is the introduction, and to get into the details of what Earl has to say, you should go on and watch it. There's so much going on in this prison. There is a story about someone was tried to get rid of by he got a drug. They tried to put drugs in his desk, a spice drug, and they tried to get rid of him like this. And it is absolutely crazy what was going on there, or is still going on there, because of the new leader of this prison. You know, and you should really watch it.
Yeah, it was pretty horrific what was going on there. Unbelievable. And the reason you haven't heard of, I'm just looking at comments, I've never heard of that one. We have a lot of prisons. I mean, we probably haven't heard of most of them, right? Because we have a lot of prisons in this country, and most of them are run by racists, and they're run inhumanely, and it's not covered by the media because they have a huge lobby and they have a lot of money, and don't want to rock that boat. And this is it's just one more thing. One more thing.
Yeah, it's a business.
That, you know, those folks work, you know, yeah. Watch the whole interview because he talks about all of the, yeah, it's just amazing. You can't even cover it all.
Yeah,
what's going on there.
And it would be great to have him again in one of our shows to tell us more. And he hinted this already, that he has lots of more stories. What is not running smoothly there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and just, you know, this is something. Just on that, this is something where if we wanted to use media, our own media, as a force against that woman and what's going on there, we would need to organize some people in Washington, along with the Progressive Washington crew, and we could do it. We could set up a live stream in front of the prison, or right, in, you know, they're doing an event. They were talking about they're going to be out protesting, not on prison grounds, because of course you can't do that. You know, even though our tax dollars paid for the thing, so they're going to be, you know, but we could live stream that. We could make it more of an event. You know, if we coordinated with folks like that. But that takes more people helping Progressive Washington and the Washington Berniecrats Coalition, more people involved in their crew, more people in volunteering. It takes numbers, right? And so yeah, we this is the kind of thing where we could use the power. We could use power to force change there, or help force the change there, if we wanted to. What's next, Marcus?
Yeah, next. Normally, I would say next would be the review of the news, but I'm waiting that I forgot something.
Well, you forgot comments. I mean, you had some comments on Tambourine.
Yes, I know this. We can show them now, or you can show them later when we go out.
No, show them now. Before, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's lots of donations. Thank you. Like, I haven't had a chance to do any videos or bug you as donors with another email. I just haven't. I'm like, you know, because a lot of you are donors, but you don't subscribe. I'm like, does that mean I can still bug them because they gave us money? I think it does. So I don't like send you out emails, and I haven't done a video, but most of you will catch this. So thank you all. I see the money coming in, and hopefully Larry sees the money tomorrow. We're going to have our meeting and talk about where we sit with things. Thank you. I know every, you know, it's thank you. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, go on. Sorry, Marcus. Just want to get there.
No problem. Okay. Let's go to the viewers' feedback to Tambourine Borelli.
Sure.
And yeah, and we have two comments. One is coming from Density. Every now and then a person comes into the live to smack you in the mind to realize that we are the 99%, and the persistence will eventually bring true justice with balance. Thanks, Tambourine. Awake again. Great comment, Density. I don't know if he's here tonight, today, tomorrow, today.
It's usually.
And yeah, the other one is John Warren. As always, this is an excellent interview and discussion. Thank you. As for police speaking out against their brothers, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks had an interview with Michael Wood, an ex-Baltimore cop, and he details the culture he encountered during the time he served in that capacity. And yeah, this would be already make two, John. You know a good cop, and it seems that Cenk interviewed a good cop, right?
I know a good. Well, that guy Michael Wood has been well known because he marched in a gay pride parade. I think he's the same New York cop that's always stood out, who's no longer a cop, right? So it's like there's one, right? He's pretty famous, and I understand the culture, but that doesn't excuse the actions or the inaction. I mean, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a good comment on that. And then the other one, yeah, I know a guy, and you know, it's a different situation there. That's a Longmont, the city of Longmont, that has a really well put together restorative justice program, and it's been in operation with a police force that's been working with it for more than 20 years. And it's, you know, if there's another example of a police force like that, and it would have to be very much like that, right? Yeah, absolutely. Longmont's got its own issues as well. Racial tensions and income inequality are the same everywhere. But it does have a chief of peace, and you know, he's definitely unique as far as I know. And so yeah, that's it. You got those. Okay, 2. You're right, Marcus, 2.
Yeah, so far 2.
All right.
We will see if we can find more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good comments, though.
Yeah, the other comment is coming from Schulze and referring to to Shaheed Butare, and it is nearly a kind of love letter. He's completely going nuts over Shaheed, and I can agree. It is understandable because he was so great. And let me just quote the end of it. I want to see this guy in Congress, real bad, damn it. Even if extreme measures become necessary, bollocks. As far as leadership goes at the moment, we are facing a serious, very serious crisis. This dude's our man. I love how he wrote his own song and had a video of himself. Shaheed is awesome. Absolutely agreed. And I can understand why Schulze is so enthusiastic about it.
It's you imagine him coming out like to do a rally and he opens up with a tune. Just comes out, he's all rapping out, and drops the mic, goes to the podium, starts his speech. You know, he's got. We need to get him on tour with Bernie. That's what we need.
Oh yeah,
the opening act.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Actually, everybody dancing instead of "This Land Is Your Land." Yeah, you did. We just get him up there and leading everybody.
It would be great as a closing act. Yes. And
can we change the song? Yes, "This Land Is." Yeah, we need a little more pep. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Laura. Sorry, I don't have a all in the shot. There you go. Back to you, Marcus. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Coming to the next feedback, referring to Earl from yesterday, and there we have Jay Pearson. A lot of things coming to the surface this year. Absolutely, Jeff, you're right. And again, density. Oh my. Do we have a right to work state? This shit has got to stop. As human beings, do you not understand as species that sameness in the common denominator? Time to wake up, my friends. Shed your MSM skin and work together. Yes, and it is for me. It was in parts not grabbable what's going on in prisons in America. Yes, it was kind of shocking what I learned yesterday coming from Earl.
Yeah, and just I want to just on a personal note, with all the prison systems in the United States, you know, I have a personal experience going on right now with, and here's the bottom line: if Lori and I weren't able to financially cover all of the expenses that a person who has been in jail, not prison, just jail, has when they come out, because they go into debt. They charge them every day for being there. It's unreal. Wow. You come out with debt, and then you're given a timetable to pay the debt. And if you can't pay the debt, there's a warrant. And then you go right back to fucking jail. And that's how the system keeps these people in prison, is because they make sure when you come out, you are financially unable. And society and society is like, oh, well, you just came out of jail. We're not going to fucking hire you. It makes sure you have to go back in. It's horribly inhumane. And every fucking person who makes a living in this system is a piece of shit. Just like every fucking person that puts on a nice badge and does that job is a piece of shit, in my view. Find some moral something in yourselves. It's just horrific. It's just horrific. And this is how our country, this is how capitalism destroys us. It's part of what my anger and frustration was earlier. It's like, and I didn't really express this, but I'm going to express it again. Money is what holds this movement back, because it is the one resource that we don't have. And the 1% knows that, and they've built an entire fucking system that relies on it. Our survival relies on fucking money. It's unreal. It's unreal. And if you cross the system, you're double fucked. Because now you're marked, you're in debt, and you're never going to be able to pay that shit back. That's our prison system. That's our education system, which is also a prison system. It's our fucking military, which is just a death system.
Is that the way it is everywhere? Or is it different from different states?
In terms of which?
In terms of that debt thing, you know, charging them.
No, that's all private prisons. All private prisons.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in the public prisons, but all private prisons do that. It's fucking horrific. It's horrific. Anyway, Marcus, back to you. Are we done? News review now. Oh, we're gonna move into lighter things. News.
Yeah, the lighter things. Yeah, and now we are coming to people who are not exactly to be counted to belong to Betsy DeVos fan base. We're talking about teachers and, of course, the teachers' strike, which is going on. And it seems it is going on. It doesn't end in Oklahoma. It started there. It went over to Kentucky, as we see, and Arizona seems to be the next in the row. And I think they are not the last states. If I look at the anger and the rightful anger of the teachers, you know, and they are stating it. We are not just walking out for ourselves anymore. We are walking for everybody. And if you see their demands, what they want from their governments for the future, these are not only pay raises. This concerns budgets and also staffs which are working in the public service. You know, and we have an extract from the Bloomberg's Politics article, where it says in Oklahoma, teachers on Monday made good on their threat to shut down hundreds of schools throughout the state, preventing students from taking tests that are required by the end of the school year to ensure federal funding. In Kentucky, schools are closed as well, many because of spring break, others because teachers are swarmed the state's capital building in Frankfurt. And in Arizona, teachers last week gathered at the State House in Phoenix with buttons reading, "I don't want to strike, but I will." This is a clear threat that it cannot go on like it did, and that teachers not only deserve the respect for spreading knowledge, but they also deserve to get a fair payment. You know, this is I think this is common sense. This is nothing which has to be mentioned. You know.
Yeah, in America.
For me, no. This is common sense everywhere. This is no German common sense. This is common sense. You know, universal common sense.
You would hope.
Say it like this.
One would hope.
All right. Okay. So there's another article from yesterday from the Reuters magazine, or from the Reuters news, that Oklahoma approves tax deal, but teachers are not satisfied with this, and threaten to extend the strike. And if we look at the numbers, the Oklahoma Senate passed a $45 million revenue and tax package on Friday to fund the state's public schools, but the amount fell short of the new spending sought by teachers who walked out in protest of a decade of education budget cuts and low salaries. You know, one decade which no pay raise and nothing. And we are in the next slide, we are seeing numbers a little bit later, and this is dramatic. And the article goes on. Tens of thousands of teachers have come to the state capitol this week calling for increased spending for an education system whose inflation-adjusted general funding per student dropped by 28.2% between 2028 and 2018. You got to imagine, this is nearly a third of the budget, which was cut from the important things, in my opinion, which is education and knowledge. You know, and this is absolutely not a good sign. You know, and yes, then if we can have now a look at the numbers in the next slide, there we can see the complete dramatic numbers. Look at the top. There's Oklahoma. They are not making in the elementary schools not even $40,000 a year. In the secondary, they hardly reach the $40,000 limit, and in comparison, this is absolutely nothing. You know, and the other states, I'm a little bit astounded that I don't hear anything from South Dakota. They should also be on the streets and close the schools. You know, because I think they are not happy with what they get as well. And if I look at the list and at the numbers, I think it could come a new, not a blue wave, but a teachers' wave in the coming weeks. And I hope they will fight, and I hope they will reach their target, because education, in my opinion, is the basic need what a nation needs to define itself as a nation. You know?
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's I hope what we're seeing is group after group rising up to demand more, right? I mean, how many different movements and groups have had to rise up in the last 2-3 years for this, that, and the other? And pretty soon it's just going to be the bulk of the populace, and that's where we're headed, which is great.
Yeah. And they are demanding this not only for themselves, but they want it for the system. You know, of course they want a pay raise, but of course they want more money in the system. Right. I saw yesterday. I saw memes or an article about the school books. You know, I saw science school books which cannot be called books anymore, because these were only more or less loose pages in it, and this is nothing. You can use for education. This is complete crap. This is bullshit, you know, to say it plain.
Yeah, well, that's
and if we look at the last slide, you know, there you can see what the demands are. You know, they are not happy with the offer of the Oklahoma government. They want 200 million increased in annual education funding, and this is a number. But I think regarding the low wages and regarding what I saw with what material they have to deal with, I think this is a good estimation of what is needed in the state.
Keep in mind that all these numbers are already ridiculously low in terms of providing quality education. It's not like their numbers in 2003 were good. They were already horrific. It's the education system in this country has been raped for everything else, including lining politicians' pockets for decades and decades.
Yes.
And you know, we haven't seen real quality improvements in American education since the 70s.
Yeah.
That's really, the 70s was the last era of people getting decent goddamn education from secondary school, or, you know, from elementary school on up. And so whatever money we're asking for is already insufficient.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this is nearly 50 years ago, you know. And,
yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And you're absolutely right. This is not that the teachers in Oklahoma are starting to buying mansions or buying cars or building swimming pools. No, this is what they would need to survive as T-shirts and as a school system.
Well, and really, we need more teachers. And we need better qualified teachers that are paid higher wage. We've got a lot of teachers that have all sorts of training and stuff, but they can't work that job because it won't survive. We have teachers living in cars. We have teachers doing sex work. College teachers doing sex work. There was an article, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" That this is what we've let our teachers become. Could you imagine if we heard that about cops? Cops having to live in their cars because their wage was too low, or they had to go off and you know, give blowjobs in alleys because they had to come up with extra rent.
Good point.
Could you imagine if we heard that about the fire department? Fireman works 3 jobs, lives in a cardboard box, says, you know, fireman's wage just not cutting it. You know, how come it is that it's just, you know, I'd love to see a cop have to fucking struggle. No offense, cops, but you don't. You got it good. And you know you got it good because you can steal, you can lie, you can cheat, you can murder, you get away with it. You got no fucking recourse. It's, hey, do what you please. And then you get to say, well, we have a tough job. You make your job tough.
Yeah.
So
what about...
You know, we don't hear these stories. It's frightening that we hear these stories about our teachers. Our teachers.
Yeah. Those people we mostly have to trust, you know. Parents trust teachers, the education of their kids, you know, and it is absolutely ridiculous. But the positive number was that I read in Oklahoma about 72% of the parents or the others support the teacher strike, you know?
Good.
Which pushes a lot of pressure on the government on the other side. Good.
I hope the parents realize that what they really have to do is vote out the people that have done this to their kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that's what they realize. Anyway, it pissed me off. If you can't tell,
understandable. Yeah.
Rather emotionally charged today, everybody. God damn it. It's a Saturday. Just anyway. You've got two other stories in here. You got Flint and
yes,
the Obama stuff. I don't want to. You want to really cover all
there
this
is
stuff?
good news in the catastrophe around Flint. Because the U.S. Supreme Court allows Flint water contamination lawsuits. This means those citizens who sued the government for the poisoned water, for the lead poisoned water, now have the right to do this. And this is, in all this dramatic and all this chaos, it's fantastic news. We will see where it leads. If there's any money to get from these from those who were in charge with this crap, we will see. But it is a good news from the judiciary side, in my opinion. Yes, and it is this, as you can see in the last slide. I don't want to go over the complete slide right now. The lawyers of one of those who are concerned with the poisoned water praised Monday's action by the justice, saying in a statement that it signals that the state of Michigan and all of its cronies are reached the end of the line in their ongoing efforts to avoid being held accountable. These are the small signs, in my opinion, that the system is not completely lost, and yeah.
Except you realize that they still don't even have clean water there, so now they can sue.
This is why I'm talking about a catastrophe, which is not ended yet.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, you can sue and get some money, but you still can't have clean water.
Yeah.
It's just frightening. But yeah, it is good that the legal side of things in some cases seems to be more effective than anything else. Yeah. As we heard from Shaheed, right? Talking about what we could do legally in some places.
Yeah.
And then what's your last thing? Bernie versus Obama, because the smear.
This is the last week's BS, the last week's bullshit. The Bernie versus Obama. Okay, I know we are now in the WrestleMania weekend. Maybe it was needed that such a headline was created by certain CNN people who are interested in smearing Bernie. The first article says it already. There is a big outrage about what Bernie Sanders has said about Obama, not respecting him. It was on the day of MLK anniversary of the assassination of the anniversary. I'm sorry, and it is unbelievable, and it shows that the mainstream media is still ticking like we are knowing them from 2016 and before, and this. And what did Bernie really say? What did he say? We have this in a quote. He says, "The business model, if you like, of the Democratic Party for the last 15 years or so has been a failure," Sanders said. "People sometimes don't see that because there was a charismatic individual named Barack Obama. And now he was obviously an extraordinary candidate. Brilliant guy. So what is the outrage about this,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
The outrage about this follows by the so-called CNN contributor Bakari Sellers, who says you all can defend Bernie all you want on MLK 50. His lack of self-awareness and his arrogance in dismissing number 45 is wild. Bernie 2020 died for 4th April 2018. What does he want? What does it has to do? Facts. With all the dismissing of 45. It is a fact. It is a fact. It is a complete fact what Bernie said. If you're looking at the next slide, there we can see how great the strategy over the past years, over the past 10, 15 years of the Democratic Party was, if you're looking at the seats, What is going on there? Is this a story of success? I don't think so, So, please, Mr. Sellers, this is ridiculous, and so the only answer would be the next slide. Thank you. No further questions, Mr. Sellers. And like the Joker, he shows his tongue, But one thing I just want to remember, and this shows the smart move of Bernie in here, Of course, he did not offend Barack Obama, but what didn't he say in this quote is the question. know. He said he was obviously an extraordinary candidate, brilliant guy. He refers to him as a candidate, which he was. As a candidate, he was brilliant, but he was not as a president. And
Right.
this is what is not outspoken here, but within the lines. And this makes certain people mad. But it is the truth. In my opinion, it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to, I don't know who that guy is, I
have no clue. You know,
the pundit who was complaining, but he was more pissed off about what Bernie said on MLK Day than the cops that blew away a brother in New York. That was his priority. Dude, your priorities are fucked. I mean, seriously, man.
Yeah, here we go.
Your priorities are fucked. Anyway, I think it's just a joke. I mean, it's just funny now. Laura?
Yeah.
Anytime that Bernie says anything that can be construed as negative about anybody, they will jump on it because he doesn't do it that often. He's usually very positive and forward thinking. So this is just like, him being mean about something, and we can turn that into something.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, before I get two things.
What?
Two things. One, everybody asked him Black why he blocked us on Twitter. Bernie 2016 TV on Twitter. I thought he and I were friends. At least in Twitter.
He did? When?
Yeah, I don't know. He blocked us. So that's fine. I get it. I don't know why. We're always the outcasts. It's okay. We don't do news, Tim. We're not competing with you. So I don't know what the deal is. But you do hang out with HA, and I'm not a fan. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's because you're tight with HA, and I'm just not a fan of HA. But anyway, HA has 113,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. I don't know if anybody remembers, but he basically built a career on putting out a false headline the entire primary that Hillary was going to be indicted. That was his fucking thing.
All caps.
All caps. Every fucking week, building up the hype. He was like an MSM, but just spinning a fucking narrative of, let's get all excited. Still hasn't happened. But somehow he's like really huge and popular, and that's to me is like a
People
massive
love to hear
waste.
it. It's like devoting yourself to Q and all the the storm is imminent. The storm is imminent. That storm's coming any day now. That's been fun.
Yes, and listen, we need those people in the progressive media too, because it helps rally the troops to some way. So I'm not putting down the effort at all. I'm just saying this is the reason why I really tried to focus on being useful.
Yeah.
What is the most useful thing that we can do here with our network for the revolution?
Yeah.
That's why I stopped doing the real news. That's why I stopped doing the ranty stuff, because there's plenty of other people out there got it covered. So that's why. But my whole real point on that was that just because we have different media things and we do different things doesn't mean we can't be friends in a revolution, Tim. So I don't know what I did to, I'm just saying the day Hillary gets indicted, I will be an HA fan all over. I just think it's a little premature. Premature journalation. Anyway, what else? What else do we got? Is that it? We're just done? Are we down to the song? Yeah, we're down to the song.
Let's talk about tomorrow's shows.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah. And
he's still doing the same things now. Really?
Yeah.
He's the king of clickbait, says Jeffrey. Well, I'm glad that he built his reputation on that.
Yeah.
In a world that really needs some clarity between independent media and MSM, thank you, those in the progressive movement who are muddying the waters.
Yeah.
Not just, you go.
Make him very, very happy. In all caps.
Tim Black almost quit his show, like Tim's own show, or?
Well, we know how that is.
Yeah,
it's not
right.
sustainable.
Think about that
especially with the
every
YouTube demonetization and throttling that's been going on. That really hit him hard, I think.
Yeah, it certainly hit him hard. Oh, and well, it certainly destroys us, but we've seemed to maintain a really hardcore 300 people, which I'm proud of. 300 out of
40
14,000.
watching now. Dang.
Yes, 40. Hi, all 40 of you. Did you see the announcement about the Homeland Security wanting to create a list of media influencers?
Oh yeah, yeah. What a positive spin on a hit list.
I'm like, well, I want to be on that list. I doubt we will, but
I would be kind of offended if we weren't.
I know.
Again,
please
maybe
add
we
us
don't
to
want to be.
Where do we apply? Maybe we can just apply on the list. But the truth of the matter is that's frightening.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly what they're going to use that for.
Yeah.
It's a hit list.
Yeah.
It's who do we need to silence?
Tomorrow's shows.
Yes, tomorrow's shows.
Progressive Oregon. I didn't see what he's talking about. What's he talking
Progressive
about?
Oregon tomorrow is 2 people. I had the card.
Yes, we have.
Oregon's Poor People's Campaign.
Yes, and one of these 2 ladies is running for county commissioner, which is a really important job. Does not get the flash of all the other jobs, but county commissioners decide a lot about business and who gets to do it in zones and what zones are and land. And so it's very important that county commissioners are progressive so that they're not divvying up our land for the fossil fuel industry. That's so join them tomorrow to talk about that. And then what's going on with you in the evening, Laura?
We've rescheduled our Board of Progressive California with Jess Phoenix for tomorrow night, and I'm totally lame and I don't think there's a card in there for it, but
no, I don't know.
Not yet.
So I'm so sorry, Marcus. I should really be better at that. Anyway, but she's gonna be our guest talking about climate change, and Joseph will be back from spring break and or the dead, depending on when you talk to him. He's been sick, poor guy. And we haven't been on in a few weeks, so this will be a fun show.
Yeah, and those of you who don't remember what Jess is, the bottom right there.
Yeah, okay, there.
So this, thank you, Marcus, for making all these stats. Marcus, look what he did. He cut out all the clips. There's all the people.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people.
Gosh,
and this really was just for me to photobomb I just want to be in all the pictures.
If that sweater could talk.
Oh yeah. I have those fun dreams. I'm watching one of those mysteries at the museum, and he's talking about this sweater, blah blah blah. Right? You ever seen that show? Anyway.
No.
Anyway, all right. We're out of here. It's late. We made it to 11:20.
Let's do one more thing. We have Tyler Vega coming up on We the People on Monday, but we don't have a We the People on Wednesday yet. But Tyler will be back in Washington.
Hopefully, and then we also that's it. Yeah, we have some open spots in April still, right?
Yeah. Well, we just Ryan Kajasti just filled the 18th. We've got Rosa Calderon on the 16th, and we've got. Jason Kishinoff, the Green Party from District 5 on the 23rd. So Rosa Calderon is District 4, Ryan Kajasti is District 12, Jason Kishinoff, District 5. We're, as you know, we're front-loading Washington, Oregon, California candidates in preparation, especially for the Oregon and California primaries, which are coming up in May and June. Washington is until August, so we will definitely. That's where we have the most ties to organizations and campaigns, and it's where we all live. So that's what we're focusing on. There's so many races and so many people running, and we needed to focus on what we could.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for all those updates, and that's exactly what we're doing. If you want to expand, and I have had people that have, can we do this? Can we stream over here? Can we do this? It would be great if you guys would interview these people and these people. We're at our max in terms of really being able to do weekly series, unless we get donations a lot more.
Or a
team, right? I'm always open to doing a new state team. Mm-hmm. So if you get 3-4 people that want to come together and learn the process and be your own crew, I will definitely make time to do a state show. That was my original goal, was to have a show in every state that was doing the same thing, covering civics, interviewing people in the progressive movement, and focusing on everything that does not get focused on by MSM. That being said, the truth is we can't really expand hugely beyond this until we get all this crap out of my garage. The main server's in my garage, right? We're heading into the season of the flies here. So, and again, not asking you guys. You guys are donating. You guys are the core. You guys have got us up to $500 a month in recurring donations between all the places that it comes from. So thank you all very much. Between super
chat. It'd be so nice if we had a rich donor that could just, drop a little fat stack in once. Just it's a write-off.
That's why I occasionally, occasionally I lament on that. I'm very butthurt on Twitter about the fact that all these other groups are getting, seem to get all the highlight, right? We need our hi, Susan Sarandon. Come on, support a media network. Drop by. Yeah. I don't know. Seriously, somebody said there were some rich progressives, and I was like, who? And they're like, Susan Sarandon. I'm like, okay, you name one. Give me a couple. So I'm not really picking on you in particular, but you could do an interview on our show with Laura, and then that would boost ratings.
Hey, that would the poop factor would be.
Anyway, that's where it sits. We will always do more if we get more help. So info@uphillmedia.org if you guys want to get involved and do more. All right, what are we getting? We're done. Mark Ruffalo, sure. Mark too. Hey, Joseph, yeah, Mark. When are we having Ron on? Because he'll be a boost for the ratings.
15th, April 15th. He's the following weekend.
Tax day. Woo.
Tax day.
That's great.
Yeah, Ron Picone talking about municipal internet and his experience. Going in front of council and really making a point for that in the Pasadena area. California.
That's
been something. And Joseph, our darling Joseph, works a lot with Ron as well as us. So that's our in. And thank you again, Joseph. That will be fun. And
they're listing rich progressives.
Tim Robbins, yeah. Who's the one? Oh, the one who did the great speeches. Oh, I'm blanking out on her
George
name.
Clooney.
Oh, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario. That's it. It's Rosa. And it's like not Rosa.
Danny
Rosario.
I know, but all those people hang out in their elite Hollywood world. We don't know any of them. So anyway, Ron Picone on what, April 15th? You said that was.
Yeah, April 15th.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. What's the song we're going out with, Marcus? What is this thing?
Yeah, we are talking about people no one knows. This is exactly what's coming on now. Unfortunately, no one knows. This is a singer and musician, Karl Reed, and he does a cover of the Bruce Cockburn song "If I Had a Rocket Launcher," which we played a couple of weeks ago, or meanwhile a couple of months ago, and this guy, I think, is impressing. In my opinion, it is, meanwhile, my favorite version of this song. Because the passionate way he plays the guitar and how he presents, how he performs the song, I like it very much, and I just wanted to play it today. And about Karl Reed, well, there's not much to be found, because he seems to have only this song out, and unfortunately he is already dead for more than 10 years. Which is very, which I'm very sorry about. It is said that he died of a brain cancer, and the guy who recorded this video we are going to show says it is his exclusive material, and so it seems that he didn't have much popularity, but I don't care about popularity, and I like the song, and I hope you guys share this feeling with me and enjoy it.
Thank you, Marcus. That's so un-American of you to not care about popularity. But then again, you're German. And just everybody, I see you dropping so many progressive rich folk names.
Like Jane Fonda totally would. Yeah.
And I just want to say, so that's awesome. And the only way that we're going to ever get them to pay attention is for them to actually know that we exist, right? So if you could.
Like and share, everybody. 23 likes and 43 people.
And just at them, hey, have you heard of these guys? And adopt this little network. They're so pathetic and sad. And whatever you want to use. I'm totally, throw me under the bus. The lead guy really needs to be removed. They need better, whatever. Just,
get a haircut.
Right. He's so bad on camera. They need somebody else like you. Whatever you think will work with these. Just Viggo Mortensen. I would love to have the Lord of the Rings. Wow, that would be have the king on. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. No, talking about haircuts, right, John?
Yeah.
I got extra for today, the progressive haircut, and you are still going Braveheart.
Yes. Say what? When America evolves beyond our knuckle dragger state, I will leave the Braveheart and go to the clean cut German look.
But we want to get it on camera. It didn't happen. We need to live stream it.
What? His haircut?
Your haircut. No, your
haircut. Oh, well, yeah. That'll like I said, that'll happen when America is no longer a knuckle dragger state. So not in my lifetime. More likely. All right, we're getting out of here with this song. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Bye, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
This one's called Rocket Launcher by Bruce Cockburn. Learned this when I was in Australia. Off a guy called Davey Love.
Here comes a helicopter. For a second time today, everybody scatters, hopes it goes away. How many kids they murdered, only God can say. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I'd make somebody pay. I don't believe in bodyguards, and I don't believe in hate, and I don't believe in generals or their stinking torture states. When I talk with the survivors of things too sickening to relate, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I would not hesitate. On the Rio Ascension, 100,000 wait to fall down from starvation, some less humane fate. Cry for Guatemala, with a corpse in every skate. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, I would retaliate. Gonna raise every voice, well, at least I've got to try. Every time I think about it, water rises to my eyes. Well, situation's desperate, echoes of the victim's cry. If I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, if I had a rocket launcher, some son of a bitch would die. Some son of a bitch would die. Some son of a bitch would die.